Welcome to Transforming the Toddler Years, the podcast for conscious parents, caregivers, and educators who believe tantrums aren't terrible. They are powerful opportunities for connection, growth, and learning during the first 5 years. You'll explore how to use intentional language to raise calm, confident, and deeply connected kids, because the way we talk to kids becomes how they see themselves and engage with the world. Hi, I'm your host, Cara Terrell, classroom teacher turned parent educator and teacher trainer. Are you ready to nurture your children's mind, body, and spirit? Welcome, Toddler Tribe. Let's transform the toddler years together. Welcome back, Toddler Tribe, to another episode of our mini-series, Raising Smart Kids in a Digital World and redefining what smart means. We have covered emotional awareness and emotional intelligence. We've dove deep into the idea that every child has a core. Knowing who they are matters in their youngest years, and that it's your job to cultivate that as you witness it evolving. And today we're going to move to the second smart, relational intelligence. I think you've heard a lot about emotional intelligence in the world, and I know you've heard more than you should about cognitive intelligence in the world, right? They're called EQ and IQ. But what about this one that's nestled right in the middle? Well, my friends, that is RQ. That is relational intelligence, and we're going to explore it today. At the core, we are social beings. We learn through socializing, and we learn by building strong, healthy, connected relationships with other people. In the world of online business, if any of you out there are also entrepreneurs, I'm sure you've heard of this and referred to as the know, like, and trust factor. Yeah? Like, who do you buy from? Beyond who do you buy from? Who do you listen to? Who do you believe in the world? People you know, people you like, people you trust. And I'm going to do you one better. People you respect and people that you believe tell you the truth. I'm going to say something here that is probably a rather unpopular opinion, because I have this often hate, sometimes love-hate, often just tolerate relationship with social media. And it's because I don't believe that authenticity exists there. Even if that's how we strive to show up, I just don't believe that that authentic bond, that authentic connection can be made through a screen, specifically when we're not present at the same time. Relational intelligence grows when we are either physically present or digitally present, because I'll tell you what, if you've ever hopped on a connection call with me, we can bond. I can build a relationship with you. We can share time, space, and energy, live time through a screen. That is possible. But simply these reels of showing up for 30 seconds and depositing something that have been, tailored specifically to meet the algorithm's needs so that it can go farther and go faster. And I just don't feel authenticity in that. And so my point is that relational intelligence is built on true, authentic interactions. And that's what your kids need to be having. So like, and trust some people online, I'm sure. And the influencer industry has just exploded because companies rely on the fact that that's how you feel about someone you have, and get this, never met. What? I have a really difficult time making sense of that in my soul. So, what I want to do today is explore the idea of know, like, trust, respect, believe from the lens of your little people. The first relationship that they ever have is with you. That's it, right? It's the first relationship they'll ever build. The first relationship they'll ever experience. And that's the truth about relationships, is they are experiential. They are feeling based. They are built on consistent, collaborative, communicative connections with people. Now, if you have an energy match, that helps. You've heard me tell stories about kids that just come up to me out of nowhere and we don't know each other, but we can bond very quickly. I can build relationships. I don't remember which episode it was, but I told the story of the little girl after I had done an early childhood training, the little girl who didn't want to get her coat on, and how her trusted adult, her grandmother, was trying everything she knew and doing an incredible job applying the strategy she had just learned, quite honestly. And still it wasn't working. And in under 4 minutes, I was able to bond with a child I'd never met and shift her thinking, have a teachable moment, so that she was able to get her coat on and get out the door without melting down. So there are people who your child will have a natural kind of magnetic connection to. And that magnetic connection is a great starting space, right? It takes some of the friction away from the building of a relationship if the foundation kind of comes together on its own. They can build up from there. But to really hone for your kiddos what relational intelligence looks like and feels like, because that's the key, isn't it? I mean, you have an incredibly strong radar, I'm sure. My husband has an incredibly strong radar. He can get a read on somebody that he's never met simply by entering the room and being around them for mere moments. He'll be like, no, that's not my person. Or, that's someone I think I would like to talk to and get to know better. The energy is where relationships begin. The interactions is how they are built. And so the first relationship your child ever has is with you. The second relationship, and it might even just all be the same relationship, right? Because there's interpersonal you and them, when you are very intentionally engaging with them. The play, the smiles, the love, the redirection, the boundaries, the holding of the boundaries. These are all relationship builders because they learn to trust you. They learn to respect the boundaries. They learn that you are in it together with them. But the other, and honestly, most overlooked and maybe even more important relationship that they use as their baseline for what do healthy person-to-person relationships look like, feel like, and sound like, are you and the other people in your house. If you interact one way with your kiddo, and you turn around and you interact a completely different way with your partner, they see it, they hear it, they feel it. They go, oh, well, this is confusing now. Wait, this felt good. I'm witnessing something. It does not feel good. So which one's right? Which one is how relationships are supposed to feel? I'm not sure. So making sure that you are working on you. Now, I had an episode pretty recently with Stephen and Nancy from Our Family Culture. And if you didn't catch that one, it's a must listen to, because they introduced their new app, Our Family Culture, where you build your family culture together as a whole family. And one of the most important things that they said during that interview was, as you pick your core family fundamentals, the values that you're going to stand on, like those are the rock, make sure that they are fundamentals that you can work on, that you are willing to stand by, and that you are willing to model for your children. Because intentionality, when it's you and your kiddo, is amazing. It's important. They need to know they're seen and heard in those moments. But intentionality, when they're just watching you, it's even more important. They sock that away as valuable information. I watched my mom pick up that piece of trash, even though it wasn't her job. I watched my dad go over and say something kind to my sister when she was having a hard moment. The relational bonds and the relational beliefs that you're building in those moments, they're strong. They are strong, strong, strong. And they get put away as a benchmark for what healthy feels like. So building relational intelligence within your home is so powerful. And again, it sets that firm foundation so that when you are having to have one of those conversations with your kiddos about something that maybe didn't go the way that you really wanted it to, or was going quite well and then kind of took a turn and crash landed, you can refer back to those moments and say, yeah, that didn't go very well. I wonder how we could have done that differently. And your kids are going to start to auto-populate some of those options for you based on what they've seen, what they've heard, and what they've experienced. Now, in the book, Talk to Them Early and Often, I introduce my core 4 connectors, and they are the healthy, they represent the psychology of human connection in healthy relationships that can grow and evolve. And so I just want to close today with those so that you know what your goals are here, right? The idea that you want your kids to know, like, and trust you. And you want to be able to know, like, and trust your kids. And this firm foundation exists so that you can do the other thing, which is problem solve together. That's part of my collaborative discipline methodology. So when you are approaching relational learning moments, ask yourself these questions. Am I being honest? Developmentally appropriate, but honest with my child, even if it means a meltdown will ensue, even if it means a hard conversation will have to happen on the other side of this information that I give them. Am I being honest? Can they trust me to mean what I say and say what I mean? Can they trust that whatever comes out of my mouth is the truth? Can they believe it? And that am I ready to hold it? Whatever that boundary is, whatever that promise is that I make, am I ready to make good on it? Am I respecting their voice? It doesn't mean I have to agree with it, but am I respecting their voice? Am I willing to listen to what they have to say before whatever final decision we make? And here's the kicker. Am I willing to have conversation about all of it? And if the answer to those is yes, then hallelujah and amen. You are building a strong, healthy parent-child grandparent, child, teacher, student, caregiver, child relationship. And it is building the intelligence that they need in order to navigate this ever-changing world. All right, Toddler Tribe, you know what to do. Stay mindful and proactive. Until our next episode, as we transform the toddler years.